Hi, today I'm going to share my favorite recipe of braided bun. I always make this bun and especially it's very good to make during the Easter. So for today we need the ingredients, the following ingredients. Salt, just a little. Yeast, we will need 2 teaspoons. Water, 2 cups. Vegetable oil, half of the cup. Sugar, 2/3 of cup. Vanilla and flour. Now, as you can see, I just put the ingredients that go together. That is sugar, vegetable oil, water, yeast and salt, because I want it to just sit for 15 minutes to be ready for further instructions. So the only thing I want to say, sometimes people always use, according to my recipe, can use 2 cups of water, but what I do, I substitute 1 cup with milk. So basically I go with 1 cup of milk and 1 cup of water, and it should be a little warm. So people can also use egg, just 1 egg, but it's an option. So you cannot use it, and if you don't want to use it in the dough, you would basically use this when you when your buns are ready to go into the oven to bake for egg wash. So if you see, I also have the the following options to use. Raisin, which will go with the dough, inside the dough before I braid. To sprinkle, I will use, maybe for some buns I will use the sesame seeds, and for some I will just use poppy seeds. It's optional, you can just avoid any of these, just miss this section here. So for the flour, the problem here is that different times it turns out differently. Sometimes I use 5 cups, sometimes 6 cups, and sometimes it may need 7, it depends. But today I have my 6 cup of flours ready to go, and we will see how the consistency of the dough, and then you will also see how soft the dough is to know whether you need more flour or you don't need, you just can have 5 cups of flour here. Just because the dough is very soft, I'm going to use my mixer, which will help me to avoid washing my hands over and over. And now I just want to let you know that I put all the wet ingredients together. It's ready to go. I let it sit for 15-20 minutes, and you can see now it's ready for my flour to go. I didn't mix, this is the first time I'm mixing after putting all the wet ingredients together. So it is ready to have my flour added. So I'm going to pause for a minute just because I want to add my flour. As I said, I will start with 5 cups of flour, but if I feel I need more, I will add 6. I will start adding my flour little by little. Then I will probably stop for a while until I add all my flour, and then probably I will show you what kind of dough I get. So basically now this is 3 cups of flour. Let me first stir a little bit so I avoid flour dust all over. If I am going to use, if I use my mixer, I will not go with high speed. It will be very low speed, because this dough doesn't need that much of mixer, I guess. Okay. Now I will just maybe very nicely go with... Okay, so You need to also have the oil handy, because as soon as you add the flour, at the end, basically you will add a little oil on top and spread kind of all around the dough, so it doesn't get dry. And you have to let it sit for an hour and 30 minutes. After that, you have to fold the dough again. So I think now it's 5 cups and it's pretty soft. I will not add any flour, it's even too much. So another way of, if you don't want to use, sometimes you don't feel comfortable to use the mixer because you want to feel the dough, how soft it is. I think it's a little more than I would like to. What you would do, you will use oil on your hands and it will help you like not to have the sticky dough on your hands. So I will stop now because I really want to I really want to just use my glove and start folding the dough. So I will come back as soon as my dough is ready to rest for an hour. So I'm back now. The dough is already here ready. I mixed the flour, and I want just to show you the consistency, how soft it is. I realized that I have a little more flour than I needed, but basically according to my recipe it says 5 to 6 cups, so 5 was a little more at this point. This time I don't know why. So what I'm going to do now, I will just have a little bit of oil. We'll just put around so it can get soft, because I'm going to let it sit for an hour and a half, and then after that, when the dough will rise, and what I'm going to do, I will just fold it and let it sit for another 3 hours, and then for another let it sit for another 3 hours, and then after 3 hours it will be ready to bake. But because I have more flour than I would like to have there, I will let it sit more than 3 hours so it can rise more and can get that texture that will be ready for the baking. Now what I want to do, I will just have my plastic wrap on top. So I don't want to cover the whole thing because I want a little air to go through. So I think this will be enough here. It's nice to keep it in a warm place. Sometimes my mom would keep it in the warm oven, but I'm not going to do that because it's already warm in the house. So it will stay like this for an hour and a half, and after that I will come back to show what the dough looks like and what I'm going to do with that. For now, let's pause, wait for an hour and a half, and if you just want to check my other videos by the time I'm just waiting for my dough to be ready, it will be awesome. Just don't forget to subscribe and share with others, whoever would like to also know how to make chiffon cake, how to make rolls, and also berry cookies. So it will be nice to watch them, and also you would like to try, and if there are questions, let me know. I will answer your questions. So I'm back after an hour and a half later. So as you see, I want just to show you my dough. Look how big it was. Now even if I touch it, it goes back to as a small. So what I need to do is just to fold this dough I just washed my hands, so it's easy for me to touch. You can see I just go from edges, bring to the center. You can see how my dough works now. I can feel some bubbles. So basically I have to let it sit for another 3 or more hours. You need to have some patience with this bun if you want to make a nice and tasty soft bun. So you need to have some patience. That's why if it sits more than 3 hours, much better. So basically, if you see my bubble, like the bubbles on the here already, you can see them, which is a good sign. So after 3 or more hours, I will come back to show how I braid them, and have some poppy seeds, maybe raisin, and then it will be ready to bake for 25-30 minutes. You can check after that. It depends again on your oven. Sometimes it can bake longer, but you don't need to over bake. So it's ready when it gets its golden brown color. So let's wait for another 3 hours, and then I will show how to continue with the process. So I washed my hands. Now that it's the time for the dough to become buns, I washed my hands, and I want to start with the next stage. So generally what I do before I would braid, I would go to small pieces and put them on my baking sheet for another 30 minutes. I want to show, because as I said, I'm going to use some cinnamon, sesame seeds, maybe raisin. So first I'm going to egg wash. Some people have a little water with egg. It's okay, it's optional. I always use only egg. So these ones probably will be with either sesame seed or poppy seed, because I didn't put raisin in the dough while braiding. Sprinkling. You can have the same thing with these ones. With the rest, and let it sit for another 30 minutes, and then it will go to the oven. And when they are ready, I will come back with the final result. So I'm back with my buns. Now they are ready. I just took them out of the oven and put on this tray. I want just to show how soft they are. You can see how soft they are. They smell delicious and worth trying. On the other one, baking sheet, I just made braids. So I will probably also show the picture in the comment area. But this is the whole thing from the beginning to the end. You need a lot of patience. It takes a lot of time, but it is worth it. So please try, watch again. If you have questions, I'm able to answer all your questions. And of course, subscribe and share with your friends. Thank you. Bye.